Future Jam.
Welcome to the Future Jam, a tech news podcast for enthusiasts and casual listeners alike. I'm Mike, and once again, I'm here with my good buddy Alex.
What up, Mikey? How's it going?
Going good.
Yeah.
It's getting freezing out there.
It got cold fast. Usually it's not this cold this early. I felt like last Thanksgiving it was still relatively warm.
One of the guys I work with, he said, "Oh, I'm going to work from home today because I have ice on my windshield." He didn't want to go out and scrape the ice off his windshield. Isn't it nice to live in a society where we can do that now?
That is the dream, right? I'd rather deal with snow on the windshield where you can just push it off. But ice when you have to sit and let it defrost. My garage door, I park in our garage. But the garage door sounds like it's about to break at any moment. The middle's buckling in and it's kind of cracked. But I refuse to park my car in the driveway because I don't want to scrape off ice.
No, I absolutely keep my garage clean and keep both my wife and my car in the garage. So very privileged life just by parking in the garage.
Ah, so nice.
But the downside is we have to drive a decent amount of time to get to work. So either you have a nice garage and you live further out of the city, or you live really close to the city and have a small garage or street parking.
Yeah, I'm technically in the city limits. But
You're on the edge, at the portion of the city where it's about to the point where it's inconvenient to go places, but you're pretty close to a lot of things.
oh, really?
Well, you're on the far east side, so if you have to go anywhere on the west side, you don't want to do that.
Cincinnati's just not that big, so it doesn't take that long to get anywhere.
Well, isn't it funny though when you talk to people oh yeah, it's 30 minutes is nothing, if it's 30 minutes away, I'm there. And a lot of people are you drive 30 minutes? That's nuts. 30 minutes is a eternity for some people.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't mind Cincinnati because the traffic's never that bad. We were just in Chicago 2 weeks ago, and I don't know if I could do it. The traffic's just so bad. Anytime you go to a big city, you're I'm thankful I live in Cincinnati.
Well, I assume if you live in the big city like Chicago or New York, you know where to go and what times to go and what roads to take. I'm assuming if you're living there, you're probably not always stuck in traffic. You probably know when to go out and do things.
Now my buddy is still stuck in traffic from when we visit him. He hasn't moved.
He's still there. I hope he has a camper on the back of his vehicle with an outhouse and all that stuff. He gets Uber Eats delivered to his car.
I don't know how people live so far out that are willing to drive 45 minutes to an hour to work. To me, this seems like a giant waste of time.
Now that's just bonkers. But I think some people have the mindset that they'd rather be driving without any traffic for an hour than to be stuck in traffic for 30 minutes.
Yeah, but as soon as you get close to the city, that traffic picks up.
Yeah, that's true as well. So, all right, let's jump right into the discussion this week. I just added this up top because I wasn't sure how much you had on it, but I found this article on Gizmodo, and I just found it kind of weird and interesting.
Well, this article hits home for you.
Oh yeah, I have a private jet myself personally, and it really stabbed me in the chest.
Well, I meant that didn't your dad fly a private jet for a while?
Well, yeah, my dad wasn't a private jet owner, but yes,
but he was a pilot, so you kind of know this business. Your dad and grandfather were both pilots.
Yeah, that's kind of why I added the story a little bit, because I kind of have a little bit of an insider look at it. But the article was just basically stating America and the rest of the world, really. They're saying we should start with America, and hopefully the rest of the world would take suit. But they're saying we should ban private jets.
100% agree.
You 100% agree?
Ban them all.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be a little bit of nuance to an argument, but yeah, it's kind of a hard stance, and maybe that's the idea of hard stances is they know that their stance is out there, but they're hoping that somebody's going to just take the middle ground approach, and that's usually what happens in most cases.
They were saying the average if you're on a plane for like a private jet for 4 hours, it's like just as much as carbon emissions as the average European a year. So like it is really bad for the environment for people to have their own private jets.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are bad for the environment, and it's like, what do we keep and what do we get rid of, and like what are we willing to give up, that sort of thing. There's like lots of give and take there, but I think it's like a lot of people even they don't use the planes ethically. Like for instance, my dad. I'm not going to give out any names or anything like that, but when my dad flew this private jet, the guy he flew with, the owner of the jet, he would smoke on the airplane, his cigarettes. And in an airplane, that's not a smart thing to do. Like, it fills the whole cabin up, and it just stays in the cabin because there's nowhere to go with the air. And so it would just come into the cockpit and just, cover the whole plane with cigarette smoke. It got so bad he had to wear like a gas mask, like not a gas mask, but in the cockpit, they have oxygen masks just in case there's like loss of oxygen on the airplane. What I was getting at with that story about the smoking was my dad basically told the guy like, hey, you can't smoke on the airplane anymore. That's just not allowed. And so obviously he was pretty pissed about it. He didn't like to be told what to do and such. So one day he said, hey, you need to go pick up my son in a nearby city, and say this city was like an hour and a half flight away. So my dad's like, all right, let's go. Let's hop in. Because basically they could fly there and then fly to their destination. And the guy said, well, no, I want to smoke a cigarette. You go fly to the hour and a half destination, pick up my son, fly back here, pick me up so I can finish my cigarette, and then we can go to the destination. So it was an extra leg of the flight and probably $1,000 or more of gasoline burnt up just so somebody could have a cigarette.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the issue is, that these private jets are for just a select few. And they don't do any good for the environment. It's just so people can feel like, just so they don't have to deal with the inconvenience of going to an airport.
When you look at it, though, how do you get to like a lot of rural places? So like a lot of places don't have international airports or big airports where you can fly. And Delta doesn't necessarily fly to every single like location, and
That's my only concern is like you've already seen the death of a lot of local, like smaller airports anyway. Like we had the one like Wilmington that kind of just died because no one will use it anymore because no one's going to like that part of the country. So like I wonder like if it would put a lot of these smaller airports out of business if people aren't flying private jets and all there. I also don't think you need them. Like right now there's like a pilot shortage. So my thinking is if you ban private jets, one of these pilots have to fly commercial, so you would handle that outage. I don't know if it would be like a 1-for-1 but I know a lot of people like flying privately more than commercials.
Well, yeah, I know a lot of the guys are like working at it part-time. So like maybe they are a commercial pilot or do other jobs like that. But on the side, they also fly these private jets, because like a lot of times these private jets aren't always like running 24/7.
No, that's
they sit for a while and get used more sparingly sometimes. So they would contract out like a pilot here or a pilot there. It really depends on the outfit. I just think it's like anything. There's not a lot of regulation involved with this stuff, and maybe they should boost taxes on these things. Like if the guy if it's not hitting their pocketbook because they have so much money, if it's not hitting their pocketbook, if they're not feeling it, they're just going to keep wasting, like doing these wasteful trips, like flying somewhere and then back again just so you can smoke a cigarette. If it was actually hitting their pocketbook a little bit and making a little bit of a dent, then they probably wouldn't do it. But since $1,000 to this dude is probably just a drop in the bucket, he probably didn't even blink.
Yeah, I heard this story once. So this guy was up. So Cincinnati to Columbus is an hour and a half drive. It's not bad. But he was up in like a meeting in Columbus. And like he was telling the story like about how great the company he worked for was. And he was like, yeah, they let me take I was going to go home and say goodnight to my kids. So they're like, oh, you can take the private jet back. My thinking is, Why the hell did they have to fly to Columbus? It's an hour and a half drive. That just seems like a giant waste of resources to fly somewhere that's only an hour and a half drive.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like flying just an hour and a half away just to
that's because you can. That's what it
Yeah.
is. It's because you can. But it's like it's not great for the environment. I mean, driving's not much. Well, it's a little better than flying, but I'll never own a jet. So if they ban them, I'm like, okay, doesn't affect me.
I just think this article is kind of out there, and it's not a realistic approach to look at, like, at all. Like, it's not possible to ban private jets, and I don't know why. I guess this guy wrote the article to, make people read it, so they're like, "Oh, wow, maybe these are a problem." But yeah, I honestly don't think this writer even thinks that would even be a possible thing to do.
I don't think so. Let's move on to dumb tech. Let's
get on the dumb tech of the week. So the first dumb tech of the week is Canon's Powershot PX is a smart home camera for your family moments.
100% disagree with you on this one, Mike. I don't think this is dumb.
So okay. Just last week you told me I don't want a smart camera in my house.
But like I think the issue with this is them calling it like a smart home camera, because that's not what it is really.
No, just to put it out there real quick so everybody knows what we're talking about. Basically, this is a little camera. It has a battery on it, so you can set it on a table. You can look around the room, and if you're smiling, it knows you're smiling, and you can set it up to take a picture when you're smiling, or you can set it up to take a picture when it looks like you're having fun. It's like a smart camera that takes pictures of your family moments.
Yeah, so you don't have to have somebody take pictures for you. So like this captures you like in the moment. So then it would store them all to like an app, and you can go through and select which ones you want to keep, and then it will save it to a memory card. Like I can see this being used at family reunions, weddings. I feel like when you hear the word smart home, you think like, oh, this is just going to be in my house the whole time. I think it's more designed for events more so than a personal use.
I don't know. If it was designed for events, the camera on it's obviously not good enough to really produce anything worth like posting probably anywhere. I mean, it's probably moderately good, but
well, I think it would be. This is in conjunction with people taking legit pictures. I think it's just to capture like if everybody's just sitting around at like eating dinner, and you can capture those moments of people talking to each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm curious how this sells because Google actually tried this as well. It was called like the Google Clip, I believe, and they had the same concept in it. I don't think it sold at all. But the downside with the Google Clip is it didn't have a lens that can move around, so it was just kind of a fixed view. Whereas this one at least has like a way to like look like have like a range of view a little bit.
Yeah, it's 340 degrees horizontally and 110 degrees vertically.
I don't know, I just find it kind of creepy, especially because you could just set it up in a room and forget it, and it just taking pictures and posting to an app somewhere. What if somebody put it in your house without your knowledge?
No, being for some good pictures. No, like I could see like it being set up on like at a wedding at the bride and groom's table, and like take pictures of people to come in and talk to them and stuff like that. Like I can see like photographers and stuff using this. I don't see like everyday use out of it.
Yeah, I would like to see some of the actual samples of like what's produced out of it. And I don't know. I still think it's a creepy idea, but maybe like you said, they can come up with some use case for it where it's like actually a useful product. I don't think it's a good enough use case to sell a lot and keep it on store shelves.
Well, we'll see if it actually comes to the U.S. because right now it's just in the U.K.
So, all right. Next one up is Squid Game cryptocurrency. $Squid is a scam.
Yeah, this is not a good look for cryptocurrency.
I don't think... Do you think many people really bought into this? I think its value went up to $2,800, which is pretty crazy for a coin to go up that high.
Well, they said the people who like scanned people made $3.38 million.
$3.38 million.
Yeah, I wrote that down. That's what I have written down. I don't know why.
Yeah, the people who created the coin, I think got away scot-free with like a decent chunk of change, at least in the millions. And basically they had a website and a Twitter and all that stuff. And as soon as they cashed out, the coin went to zero, and the Twitter got pulled, all that stuff. Radio silence.
They said the coin was going to be used in like a new online game that was part of the Squid Game Season 2. So like they were tricking people into think like this was going to be like a bigger thing.
So do you think people actually thought this was part of Netflix? Like Netflix was doing this?
Yeah, they thought it was like part of the show, but they said like the website had spelling errors, and then you couldn't sell the coins back. So they should have. There was like a bunch of red flags, but people that so bought into it, people just buy into the hype, and like these people cashed on something exciting, and like it doesn't go well for other cryptocurrencies because people are already weary about it. Like this doesn't help.
Yeah, I've been leery about cryptocurrencies for a while, especially ones that are like kind of like just rise up out of like nobody knows about it, and then suddenly it's like all over the news the next day. I just don't trust coins like that.
Yeah, because somebody's making a ton of money and is going to cash out before, and like you don't want to be the one who bought in when it's high and then it crashes out to nothing.
I'm just waiting for this whole thing to be regulated. I don't understand how this is going on. How like it doesn't make I can't mentally wrap my head around how any of this is legal. Like you think that market manipulations and all this, like there's like the stock market's highly regulated, but then there's this thing like cryptocurrencies, and it's just the Wild West. It's nuts.
Because I think a lot of people, especially in the U.S., are a lot older, and they don't understand technology. If you watched any of like their stuff with the tech companies, you can tell that they don't understand technology and don't understand what cryptocurrency is, and don't understand how much money is going around in it. Or they're just investing a ton of money and they're just making money. So,
do you know how much like black market activity goes on with cryptocurrencies? It's like one of those things where like the mafia, doesn't even need money anymore. They could just basically use cryptocurrencies if they wanted to. I don't know. It's just crazy to me that this is like one of the, still to this day, Bitcoin's been around for like what, 5-6 years now, maybe longer, and it's still not really regulated that much.
No, and it's been talked about for years, but no one ever does anything.
And I'm not saying they should, but I am saying
it needs to be regulated.
I am saying they should because it's just crazy.
Okay, next topic.
All right, next one up is Chromecast volume controls on your phone. If you upgrade to Android 12, is not going to work. So if you're wondering what this is if you cast music to like a smart home speaker, usually in most cases, you can control the volume of that music on the smart home speaker. But Google and Sonos are entangled in a lawsuit that's been ongoing for God knows how long, forever now. And
2016?
Yeah, 2016. And basically, I think Google's infringing on something that Sonos does, so they can't currently adjust the volume on the phone.
Yes, it's funny that the knob started working right when the legal action was taken against Google, so it stopped working right then. Yes, I don't understand like the legal of it, but
so basically, Sonos is complaining that Google's copying their wireless music technology. So sending music to wirelessly to a speaker or to a group of speakers. I don't know if Google is or not. It's similar ideas, and it's all using Wi-Fi. So logic just says you should be able to send music through wireless to your speaker.
Yeah, I don't understand how the patents work and like the technology works to really comment on it, but I don't use Google, so I don't know.
Well, a lot of people use like casting through Sonos or casting through like their iPhone.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. I think all of them are at one point or another were in the lawsuit infringing on Sonos's idea. And I think Sonos is just one of those companies where that's their only market is wireless speakers, and so they have to defend their like castle.
We must protect this house.
Yes, exactly. So, all right, you ready to jump into the Tech News Bytes?
Yeah, we can. Go.
Tech News Bytes.
Facebook is shutting down its face recognition system. They've had this for a long time.
Yeah, so like if you took a picture and like it would automatically tag people in it for you.
Yeah, or you
yourself.
could search the pictures for somebody and pull up all the pictures with that person in it. You know, that sort of thing as well. Facebook is shutting down that technology, even if you already opted into it. So it's in the coming weeks they're shutting it down for everybody.
Yeah, deleting over 1 billion facial recognition templates. So all these companies are kind of like getting ahead of this facial recognition laws that are going to come out, and countries are slowly pushing, like the EU and Massachusetts. They're all trying to get out ahead of it, which makes sense. Like I kind of see Google's like thing, like, well, really is like no harm if like, oh, it automatically tags you because it recognizes your face. Like in theory, like that doesn't cause any trouble. But like the other stuff that you can do with facial recognitions that I think is all going to be like blanket under, they're just trying to get rid of that.
It is really, really weird tech. I do remember one time, like just, you know, Google, if in Google Photos, it'll have like a face and you can put a name to it, you know, and you can name it. So that way you can search for that person. So I did notice that one time I had a face in there and I clicked on it and I'm like, I don't recognize this person. And I clicked on another photo that this person was in, and they were in like a completely different photo in a different like setting. I'm like, man, this person was in 2 places with me. This is spooky. But yeah, it's weird tech, and I think a lot of companies are going to the thing where they're going to store your face your face profile on the device directly and use it to unlock your phone, but that's not going to be stored in the cloud or anything like that. So,
all right, next topic.
Next one up is the McPlant tastes just like a McDonald's burger. And do you know why, Alex? Why do you think the McPlant tastes like a McDonald's burger?
Because it's delicious.
No, because in America, they will grill it on the same grill that the beef burgers are grilled on. What's the point? What's the point then?
Like, I think people who don't eat meat don't think it's a big deal if it's grilled on the same surface. But some people get up, like vegetarians get upset because it's doing, like, you're still getting like those meat tastes in there. Yeah. I know my brother is vegan, so he'll ask, like, for his Impossible Whopper, it has to be like just heated up in like the microwave instead of grilled. That's like their way around it. I don't know. At least McDonald's is offering a plant-based option. So
yeah, but on top of that, in America, it's using the same American cheese as the other burgers, and it's using mayonnaise. It's using the regular mayonnaise.
If you're vegan, you wouldn't get that. If you're a vegetarian, you can still eat that stuff. There's 2 different types of people. Yeah, like you can, as a vegetarian, you can still eat the American cheese and the mayonnaise. Okay. As a vegan, you couldn't. So. That's where the difference lies. Is McDonald's and Whoppers aren't saying that, and Burger King aren't saying these are vegan. They're saying they're vegetarian options. So you have to know the difference between the two. But this would also give, like, I'm sure they'll probably do the same thing with the like Burger King, where you can heat it up, cook.
But it doesn't qualify for vegan or vegetarian though, unless you microwaved it, I guess.
And we're not the experts on this, but. Even if you grill a piece of corn, let's not say corn. You grill a vegetable on the grill that you just cooked a hamburger on. Does that make that vegetable no longer a vegetarian option?
Yeah, because it has like the oils from the meat.
Yeah, but I don't consider like the oils from the meat to be
so
like
it's kind of cheating though. So like you're saying like, oh yeah, I'll let my husband eat a burger, but then I'll cook my patty in the beef fat. I mean, it's a good idea. It's just kind of like, what's the point then? Like you're cheating the system a little bit.
But my point is like it doesn't make it unvegetarian, right?
I guess it all depends
non-vegetarian.
on why the heck they're vegetarian to begin with, and
I guess
all this stuff. It's like all these things are like religions. It makes no sense. Just eat healthy and be sustainable. I don't know. I support you vegans out there, but I just don't understand.
Yeah. Next topic.
All right, next one up is Microsoft's Mesh for Teams brings mixed reality to work. And Microsoft announced Mesh, I think, a couple years ago, but basically what it was is using their AR goggles and glasses and stuff, you could like join a meeting and see people like 3D and the AR glasses and all that fun stuff. This is just integrating all that into Teams, and basically you could be a digital avatar, like a 3D avatar, and join a meeting, so you don't have to worry about having a clean shirt or a clean face or anything like that anymore. You could just join as a lizard person.
That would be awesome. Yeah, but this is the future, right? This is what all like Teams and Facebook is trying to do, to have like this whole world where your avatar is there and you can interact and all. Online video games have been doing this for years.
Do you really think people want to interact with each other as a avatar?
I have no desire to do this.
No, I'd rather gouge out my eyes.
Because, like, especially if it's your job, your avatar is going to have to look like you, right?
Maybe.
But, like, I feel like they think, like, oh, this is better than Teams and all. It's like, no, we do, like, WebEx at my job. I don't put my camera on.
Yeah.
And, like, that's all. I don't need to see you to talk over the phone. This is like a conference call. That's fine with me.
So what's worse, Alex, is joining a conference as a 3D avatar or changing your profile picture on Facebook or Instagram to a anime character?
Well, which anime characters? If it's anybody from like Dragon Ball Z, that's super sweet. If it's not, then I don't know.
I just find it really annoying when people have profile pictures of anime characters. Like, that's not you, guy or girl. That's a cartoon. It's like, it's not really you. It's especially annoying at work when people at work have anime pictures of themselves. Like, come on.
That's dumb. You should have your picture if it's your work.
Yeah, it's not very professional.
I just don't need like this is my avatar sitting in a meeting at work. It's like the boringest avatar. You should, unless they're like after the meeting, you get to go on like a quest to do something.
Yeah,
it's
play a video game with it.
Like, I don't know, unless you can design your own custom avatar. My guy would just have a huge penis.
Okay, we'll just cut it right there. New hidden world discovered in Earth's inner core. I grabbed this article. I'm like, oh, this sounds exciting. I bet you there's like maybe they actually discovered Godzilla's lair or something fun like that.
No, it seemed like it's the same thing we already knew, but a little bit differently.
Yeah, and it's a solid core, but now it's a flaccid core.
Yeah, so the Earth core is we thought for the longest time was a giant iron orb in the middle that was hard. And what they did was they tried doing like earthquakes and to see the vibrations, and they noticed not all the vibrations were the same. So part of the orb is soft and like liquidy, but other parts are harder. And they're like, this is a whole new thing. Like, is it that much difference?
Yeah, hold the phone. It's just going to change the way we live. We're going to no longer eat regular burgers. We're going to eat McPlants because of this.
Yeah, it's just like a wild, like, the article, like, makes it seem so exciting. And it's just like, I guess we know a little bit more about the inner parts of the world.
But then we still don't know anything.
Yeah, we'll never truly find out because man or technology can't get to the Earth's core. Can't handle it. I don't know. Why do we care? Who cares?
I hope it's freezing. I hope it's like a slushy machine down there.
What? I know. I hope it's like that's a giant rubber band ball that God put together one rubber band at a time and they just kept going.
I hope that's the case. All right. Next one up is Instagram is letting people publicly participate in stories for the first time. And I actually had to Google what an Instagram story was because I forgot what stories is that stupid thing at the top that disappears after 24 hours. I'm old. Yeah, I don't go on Instagram that much. But is this a fun announcement?
I think it's kind of cool. Like, so you can add a new sticker. So if it's like a public event, say you went to the Philadelphia Thanksgiving Day Parade, and you took like pictures.
You love bringing up parades into things.
I do love parades, and it's the parade season's coming up. So, I guess parade season's all year round. We'll do a side Future Jam about
No, we already
parades.
did a Future Jam on parades. No more. Never again.
People want it more. But, like, you can, like, add to the story. Like, so if like, you were there, you can see, like, post all your pictures. But then you can see other people's pictures that posted from, like, the same event. I think that's kind of cool.
Like, there's, like, little tags. So everybody who participated has little tags on the picture.
Yeah.
And you can click on the sticker and go to their thing. So you could see... I'm bringing it back to the weddings because you brought weddings up earlier. Weddings are on your mind. Are you getting married again? I don't know. But
how is weddings on my mind if I mention it once?
I mean, I
use it. I use
here nor there.
Use as an example. I also brought up the iron ball in the middle of the earth. I'm not gonna get one of those.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna cancel your Christmas gifts now, but
good.
I was getting you an iron core. But. Yeah, if you're at a wedding, you could kind of like do a story, and everybody at the wedding could tag their pictures and stuff in your story. What I don't get about stories is what's the point if it disappears after 24 hours? Like, did it ever happen? If the tree makes no noise in the woods, did it happen? If the picture disappeared after 24 hours, did it even happen? No, I don't know.
If the tree makes no noise in the woods, did it happen? I don't think that's the saying.
I know.
Like, well, if the tree doesn't make any noise, then nothing happened. I guess that's true.
If the tree falls down and makes no noise, everybody knows.
Well, no, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around there to hear it, did it happen?
That's okay. Yeah, I was talking out. just talking.
Right. Next topic.
But yeah. 24-hour pictures, you can share them with your friends. It's a blast. Do it. All right. Final one up is more than 140,000 Amazon drivers to be repaid nearly $60 million in alleged withheld tips. And
yeah,
this story is kind of aligns itself with all the other delivery companies out there, because when you tip a driver, these delivery companies are actually keeping some of the money from the tip. The delivery drivers usually don't get all the tip, and I think that's wrong on so many different levels.
Yeah, so Amazon promised like these flex drivers that they would get paid, and then they would get 100% of the tips. And then they're like, no, we're going to keep some of it for ourselves because we deserve this money. We're Amazon. And then they got sued and they have to pay out. One guy is going to get paid out $28,000.
That guy must have delivered a lot of groceries.
That's probably the guy who complained, like, how come I didn't get my tips?
How do these... What I want to know is, how do these drivers know they were missing out on tips? Like, did they call the customer up later on and say, hey, how much did you tip me? Or was it like an audit or something like that?
I don't know if I wonder how they caught it. Or like, could the person see like how much they tipped, and if they compared it to their pay stub?
Their pay stub. That would suck.
And then like they're like, well, I should have got this amount of tips. How come it's less? Because they said on average the checks will be around like $422. Yeah, it's a shitty thing from the company. Like $1 billion company is like, oh, we need some more money, so we'll take it from these drivers that we're paying.
My take is this, Alex. I think these delivery services aren't even a profitable business model to begin with. And the companies that run it know it. And so they have to keep all this money from their drivers just to even make it like viable or like worth doing. And the drivers quit all the time because they just can't make enough money doing it either. So I don't know. I just think all these stupid delivery companies are scummy and they don't treat their employees right, because they're not really employees. They see them as contractors, and companies don't usually treat contractors that well. All right. Final one up is a follow-up story. And I talked about this a little bit a couple times, but it never became official. And now it is. Tesla launches a Supercharger pilot program to charge other electric vehicles at Tesla Superchargers. This is only in the Netherlands for now, and it's only at 10 chargers. So, and a couple different cities. So I think this will roll out everywhere eventually, but
yeah,
they're just doing a test.
Another revenue stream for Tesla. I think they're realizing that they're not going to be the only electric car in town. That's what they've kind of been for the longest. And with all these other companies getting into it, they need to do something else. And they need, if another revenue stream would be letting other people use their chargers, which makes sense.
There just needs to be, honestly, there just needs to be a standard. We can't like not have some sort of standard, because if you're driving a car and you need to get gas, you could pretty much pull off any exit and get gas. You don't have to really think about it. Do you think they're not standardizing it at this point because it's so early in like design of these vehicles that they're waiting on like it to mature a little bit, so they don't want to like artificially hold back design and advancements, because if they do decide on something now, that could technically hold back the whole thing, you know?
I think there could be a universal charger for like 5 or 6 years, and then you can re-up like in the next phase of it. Like if you just have a generic design, you know?
Technically it is all electricity. Why not just have, like you said, just have a generic design and then change out the plugs?
Yeah, it's kind of like where we're at with the USB-C, like kind of how most companies except for Apple have decided on that one charger. And that was after, because everybody kind of had a different one for a while. And then it was like, no, this is just the best one. We'll just all use this one.
So, all right. Anything else to add before we call this one quits?
I just hope everybody has a good week.
Yeah, enjoy your week, everybody. You could find us at The Future Jam on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check out our new show, Fact Off Podcast, with Alex's brother, Pat. It's a hoot of a time.
It is a hoot of a time.
So, all right. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Bye.